Mysterious World, I Live Forever by Hanging Up My Phone. Chapter 1, Chen's Pharmacy, Handyman Apprentice. Favorites. Chapter 1, Chen's Pharmacy, Handyman Apprentice. Favorites. Dali Dynasty. Pingzhou Prefecture, Qingshan County. The biting cold wind howled, and the snow fell all over the sky. There are few pedestrians on the street, and the hawking of vendors has long since disappeared. The cold and dirty bluestone streets were crowded with shivering and ragged refugees fleeing famine. The numbness and misery on their faces cast a desolate atmosphere on the county. Outside Chen's Pharmacy on Southwest Avenue, there was already a long queue early in the morning. Hundreds of yellow-faced and emaciated victims blocked the place. A middle-aged manager in Xingyi scolded impatiently, "What are you doing? What are you squeezing? Let me spread out. Today the pharmacy does not serve porridge, but only recruits people. Listen to me, our Chen's Pharmacy is the leading pharmacy in Qingshan County. It is a good place for many people to get in even if they sharpen their heads. Today, the master has a kind heart, and because you have a hard time escaping from the famine, we specially recruit a group of young people under the age of 16 who are innocent and can read and write as apprentices. Although there is no wages for working in a pharmacy, you can eat 3 meals a day, get rewards during New Year's and holidays, change clothes twice a year, and learn the skills of pharmacy and doctor treatment. The treatment is absolutely generous. Why are you all just staring blankly? Those who meet the requirements go to the queue to register, and those who don't meet the requirements get out of here. Don't be an eyesore here." The Tsing-Yi steward gave a lecture, while directing a few servants to register and select candidates. The disaster victims flocked forward, and everyone's face was filled with fiery expectation. In the hearts of these poor people suffering from hunger and cold, Chen's Pharmacy, which includes food and lodging, is simply a good place like heaven. So many people who are beyond the standard also want to take the opportunity to fish in troubled waters. Your grandma, you can't understand human language, right? We only want teenagers under the age of 16. You are so old that you are squeezed here to seek death. The manager in Xingyi viciously whipped the crowd a few times before stopping the chaos. Not far away, a young man with withered hair, thin body and bright eyes watched the farce with a strange expression. His name is Wei Han, he is 14 years old this year. No one knows that he is actually a time traveler. 3 months ago, Wei Han was just an ordinary programmer in Blue Star. But due to overtime work and staying up late, he died suddenly, and woke up in this strange world. Before time travel, Wei Han's company was developing a word cultivation game. The selling point was set as an immortal person. How long can he live in the dangerous and mysterious world? In the game, the lifespan of the player is unlimited. As long as they are not subjected to devastating attacks, most injuries can be recovered in an instant, which is equivalent to having a youthful version of immortality. But who would have thought that just after the game was developed, Wei Han would die suddenly and travel through time? And the system of this game actually bound him to come here together. Eternal Immortality Hang-Up Power-Up System. Player, Wei Han. Age, 14. Lifespan, Immortality, fixed. Correction base, none. Practice method, none. Skills Encyclopedia, Cooking, Small Success, 35/3000, Fishing, Introduction, 12/1000, Planting, Introduction, 88/1000. Auto hang-up position, 3. Looked at his attribute version. A helpless wry smile flashed across Wei Han's face. Immortality was originally a very cool thing. But this ancient-like mysterious world is not an ordinary danger. The Dali dynasty has been passed down for more than 600 years. Not only are all kinds of strange monsters emerging in an endless stream, disasters continue to occur in various states and capitals, and the people are in dire straits. Wei Han encountered a once-in-a-century flood just after crossing over. There are more than 1,000 people in the village, and there is no one in 10. He moved south with the fleeing army when he was young, and he arrived here after 2 months of wandering. Along the way, he encountered strange murders. I also didn't drink a drop of water for half a month, and witnessed others changing their children and eating. Because of the system's undead setting, he who should have died thousands of times is still tenaciously alive. It's a pity that the system only guarantees that he will not die. People will still be hungry and afraid of the cold. The taste of hunger and cold tortured him all the time. In order to have a full mouthful, Wei Han could only stand here in the end. The pharmacy is a good place. At least you can learn some crafts, and you can get food and shelter. It's better than other disaster victims selling themselves as slaves. When I stabilize, I will find a chance to practice martial arts and immortality. People always have to eat. Wei Han silently comforted himself. After waiting for a while, it was finally his turn to register. Name, the servant asked. Here in Wei Han, a person from Kaoshan village, Tu County, Yuzhou, 14 years old this year. Wei Han said clearly, all relatives in the family have passed away while fleeing, and when they were young, they studied in a private school in the village, so they can read and write. The servant nodded in satisfaction. There is also a trace of pity in the eyes looking at Wei Han. Seeing that he is articulate and upright, he quite meets the requirements. This is a 5-year contract, let's sign it. The boy pushed a piece of paper over. Wei Han glanced at it casually. The terms of the contract were not too much, it only required not to change jobs within 5 years. The Dali dynasty strictly forbids slavery. Although the apprentice handyman has a low status, he is not worried about being sold out. Wei Han signed his name readily, and then pressed his fingerprints, so he officially joined Chen's pharmacy. What about immortality? Filling your stomach is king. Finally don't have to live on the street tonight, shivering from the cold. Wei Han muttered with a dumbfounded smile. Try your best to blend yourself into the crowd and keep a low profile. He is not the kind of sand sculpture like a dragon who is proud of the sky. He thinks that there is a system for time travel, and he is not afraid of the sky and the earth. Immortality does not mean invincibility, and now he is still powerless. If his secret is exposed, many people will be interested in studying him. Even if no one can kill you, so what? Couldn't you be solved by tying an iron block and throwing it into the sea? At that time, if I repeatedly choked to death and revived in the sea, my scalp would feel numb just thinking about it. Enough is enough, the quota is full, if you are not selected, you are unlucky, let's go. Everyone who has signed, drawn and pledged will follow me. From now on, everyone will be on their own. First go to the backyard to wash and change clothes. Later, the shopkeeper will have to lecture. Be quick. After a while of busy work, the Tsing-Yi steward selected 30 teenagers. Turn around and lead everyone into the pharmacy. This is a large shop with 8 facades wide, 3 upper and lower floors, and 3 front and rear courtyards, covering an area of more than 10 acres. The store is full of people, and the air is filled with a strong smell of medicine. Physicians and drug boys are busy, and patients have already been discharged. The backyard is also lively and colorful, with guards practicing martial arts, apprentices boiling medicine, and handymen drying medicinal materials. Compared with the cold and dead chaos outside, this place seems to be another world. The eyes of the teenagers suddenly burst into light. Even Wei Han couldn't help showing a little interest. It's not bad here. Meng Xian opened a book asking for collection and fattening, asking for rewards and tickets. Everyone's support is the motivation of the author's codeword. End of this chapter. Mysterious world, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 2, Basic Medicinal Material Identification Map. Favorites. Chapter 2, Identification Atlas of Basic Medicinal Materials. Favorites. After half an hour, the 30 teenagers who washed off their filth and dust and put on gray linen clothes respectfully lined up in 3 rows in the backyard of Chen's pharmacy. There is also a middle-aged man next to the steward in Tsing-Yi. He was wearing a long black coat, with a refined and steady look, and a sharp and scrutinizing look in his eyes. Why are you all standing still? The manager in Tsing-Yi yelled at everyone, this is Dr. Pu Xingxian, the shopkeeper of our pharmacy. He is a famous doctor in Qingshan County. Why don't you hurry up and say hello? The shopkeeper is good. Hello, Dr. Pu. The teenagers greeted in disorder. Pu Xingxian didn't care too much, nodded and said kindly, "Our pharmacy doesn't have too many rules. The handyman apprentices get up every day, doing chores and cleaning, drying medicinal materials, serving tea and pouring water during the day. In the evening, they practice martial arts and exercise. I have to find time to recite the pharmacopoeia. There is a 3-month assessment period for new recruits. At that time, you will be assigned to different places according to your performance. You will either work as a guard in a guard team, or go to an outside village to collect medicinal materials, or go to the front hall as a doctor's apprentice. In short, your fate is all in your own hands. If you want to turn around and live a good life, you'd better work harder." Some passionate encouragement. The longing for the future in the eyes of the teenagers became stronger again. Pu Xingxian nodded in satisfaction, and was not interested in saying anything more. This is just a routine lecture for new handymen to get started. After recognizing a familiar face, Pu Xingxian turned around and left, leaving a sentence, "Since you just arrived, today's work will be less arranged, Su Si, take them to arrange accommodation first, and then go to eat." "Yes." The Tsing-Yi steward respectfully agreed. Quickly arranged accommodation for everyone. The 30 teenagers were directly divided into 3 datong shops. There are 10 people living in a room, and each person has only a small place to stand. The light in the room is dim, and the air is filled with all kinds of musty and sour smells. The accommodation environment can be described as quite bad. Immediately after that is eating. There is a cafeteria in the pharmacy, but it is only a place where doctors can go. Ordinary guards and handymen can only squat by the kitchen to eat. Buckets of broth, meat pies, coarse grain buns, and hand-rolled noodles are placed directly on the ground. Coupled with a few plates of hot and sour side dishes, it also whetted the appetite of the teenagers. Eating this simple food in one bite, the satisfaction in his stomach made Wei Han feel much better. "After 2 months of starvation, I finally had a full meal. It was not easy. The treatment in Chen's pharmacy is good, I can finally have enough to eat, woo woo woo, it's a pity that my parents died early. Don't cry, watch out for Manager Su to drive you out. That's right, don't make a sad face. We are here to work as handymen. If we offend the rules, we will be driven away easily." The teenagers discussed cautiously. One of the black and thin boys pushed Wei Han, and asked in a low voice, "Is your name Wei Han?" "My name is Wang Taizhu, and I'm also from Tu County. My family is in Tinia village." "My name is Chui Bin, and I'm also from Tu County." Another handsome young man came over. In this unfamiliar place, fellow villagers are always close by nature. Wei Han nodded politely, and the 3 of them got to know each other, subconsciously forming a small group. Looking around again, there are still many such small groups. As the saying goes, where there are people, there are rivers and lakes. Although the young people are not deep in the world, they have learned a lot about how to behave in the adult world. Mr. Pu said that we have a 3-month assessment period, and we will be assigned to various places after that. I wonder what the difference is. Wang Taizhu said with a sad face. Chui Bin said in a low voice, "I know this. My father already inquired about it yesterday. The Chen's pharmacy is backed by the Chen family, a wealthy family in Qingshan County. Their status and background are quite good. They handle countless patients and medicinal materials every day. Therefore, a large number of guards, handymen, and apprentices are required. In the first 3 months, we will be arranged to practice martial arts and identify medicinal materials. After the assessment period is over, those who have excelled in martial arts will be assigned to the team. They usually guard pharmacies and medicine gardens outside the city, or medicinal materials. There is a minimum monthly fee. 2 taels of silver. 2 taels. Wang Taizhu swallowed in surprise. Wei Han also became interested and motioned Chui Bin to continue talking. 2 taels is low. It is said that veteran guards start at 5 taels. They do hard work, so they will earn a lot. Chui Bin continued enviously, "Of course, go to the towns outside to collect medicinal materials. It's also good, it said that there's a lot of oil and water, but it's a bit hard and tiring, you have to run around every day, and you're more likely to encounter horse bandits. And the best assignment is to work as an apprentice doctor in the front office. You can learn skills from the doctors. It seems that the status is not high, and you can be a doctor in the future. You don't have to work as hard as a guard, and you earn a lot. After you become a doctor, your status is higher than others. The big families in the county are polite when you meet them. Wei Han immediately became happy when he heard it. Isn't this the most suitable career for him? There is no danger and a lot of money. Holding a craft is better than anything else. Of course, martial arts is also indispensable. These years, disasters and bandits are everywhere, and weirdness is rampant. If you don't have the ability to stand by yourself, you may be in bad luck even if you are an immortal. Guan Su said we can practice martial arts, right? Wei Han asked, I don't know what we will learn. Speaking of martial arts, Wang Taizhu and Cui Bin also became interested. After all, they are all young men, and there is nothing more attractive to everyone than dancing with knives and guns. Cui Bin thought for a while and smiled, I haven't inquired about this, but the pharmacy is backed by the Chen family, and the martial arts used to train the guards are naturally not too bad. It is better than the bad street skills outside, and we have no Inzi went to the martial arts hall to practice martial arts, didn't he? That's right. Wang Taizhu said with a silly smile, it's better to join the pharmacy, and martial arts are free. While talking, Manager Su walked into the cafeteria again. Two servants followed behind, holding thick books in their hands. Send it, and you all will remember this identification map of medicinal materials for me in the next 3 months. Manager Su said loudly, I advise you to take it with you when you eat, sleep, or go to the latrine, because it will be the key to the assessment after 3 months. Have you understood? Huh. So thick. My mother, where are more than 1,000 medicinal materials? Who remembers so many? The teenagers took a look at the atlas, and all their scalps became numb. This thick atlas is densely packed, recording the habits and patterns of a large number of medicinal materials. There are more than 1,000 kinds of them, and the information is as high as hundreds of thousands of words. It is really difficult to memorize them within 3 months. You must know that teenagers have to do odd jobs during the day and practice martial arts at night. Usually, I'm afraid that I really can only squeeze time out of eating and sleeping to memorize by rote, so that I can hope to pass the examination. But Wei Han didn't panic at all. While chewing the meatloaf slowly, he flipped through the atlas casually. After a short incense stick, there was an extra line of words on his attribute board, Basic Medicinal Material Identification Atlas, was successfully included, please choose whether to hang up or not. Ding! Basic Medicinal Material Identification Atlas, is on hook, currently in normal on hook mode, and the proficiency will increase by 5 points per hour. Friendly reminder, Krypton Gold and taking tranquilizing and refreshing medicinal materials can both increase the hang-up speed of this skill. Continue to ask for collection, please collect, woo woo woo. End of this chapter. Mysterious World, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 3, 50 times on hook mode, take off. Favorites. Chapter 3 50 times idle mode, take off. Favorites. Eternal Immortality Hang-Up Power-Up System. Player, Wei Han. Age, 14. Lifespan, Immortality, fixed. Correction base, none. Practice method, none. Skills Encyclopedia, Cooking, Small Success, 35/3000, Fishing, Introduction, 12/1000, Planting, Introduction, 88/1000. Automatic Hang-Up, Basic Medicinal Material Identification Map, Proficiency, Beginner 1/1000, currently in normal hang-up mode, increase by 5 points per hour. 5 proficiency points in 1 hour, 120 points in a day, 8.3 days to upgrade, slower than a certain mine. And after getting started, there are several small realms of proficiency, minor success, great success, perfection, and limit. I'm afraid they won't reach the top in a few years. Wei Han silently recalled the system settings. The automatic hang-up function can hang up all skills and exercises. Identification Atlas of Basic Medicinal Materials, is such a thick book that he doesn't need to memorize it at all. As long as he scans it, he can learn it automatically. As time passed, Wei Han vaguely had more information about several kinds of medicinal materials in his mind, but the speed was a bit slow. Want to speed up? Yes, Krypton gold will do. As long as you have enough gold and silver, you can master the entire book of knowledge in a second. It's a pity that Wei Han has no money now, and he is so poor that he can't get a hair out of it. Let's hang on slowly first, it's better than memorizing it by rote. Take the time to find some medicinal materials that calm the nerves and refresh the mind, which should improve the speed a lot. Wei Han didn't think about it anymore, but instead focused on the evening martial arts practice. After all, there are still 2 hanging positions, and it is not enough to hang only one door. After eating and drinking enough, the teenagers began to be assigned work. Manager Su didn't talk nonsense, and said directly, "Our pharmacy has a lot of chores. Cleaning the floor, cleaning the hut, helping the kitchen, wiping the shelves, serving tea and pouring water, boiling medicine to dry, these are the tasks of you handymen." Manager Su paused after speaking. The expressions of the teenagers immediately became respectful. Because all fools know that these jobs are different. After all, serving tea and pouring water is definitely easier than sweeping the hut. Manager Su is in charge of arranging the distribution, and no one can offend him if he is offended. Hee. Steward Su looked at this scene with satisfaction, and asked, "Which one of you knows how to choose and cook?" "The one who washed the pot." "Me, I cook a lot at home." Reporting to be in charge, the villain has been helping the family since he was a child, and his hands and feet are nimble. More than a dozen teenagers scrambled to speak. Guan Su casually ordered 6 people, including Wang Taizhu. "You guys go to help in the kitchen." Manager Su waved his hand and ordered. Wang Taizhu and the others naturally received envious and jealous eyes from the crowd. "Among you, is there anyone who knows how to dry medicinal materials?" "Me." Wei Han stood up resolutely and said, reporting to the steward, "Our village lives by the mountains, and the older generation often go to the mountains to collect herbs, and I can dry the herbs. I can do it too. Count me in." At this time, several teenagers stepped forward. Obviously, everyone doesn't want to sweep the latrine. Manager Su nodded, directly and casually ordered a few teenagers, and said, "The task of drying the medicinal materials is heavy. After 10 of you, go outside the warehouse to stand by." "Yes." Wei Han and the others happily agreed. Steward Su continued to assign work, and soon arranged for the teenagers properly. It's just that some people are happy and some are sad. Wei Han and Wang Taizhu are doing a good job, but Cui Bin, the unlucky one, has to clean the latrine. This made him so sad that he almost didn't cry. "Why are you still standing there in a daze? Get to work." Manager Su said impatiently, "Get busy with your work. Our pharmacy doesn't keep idlers. If you don't understand, just ask the old apprentices." "Yes." The teenagers agreed and started to work on their own. Wei Han and other teenagers responsible for drying medicinal materials, led by an old handyman, began to work in the open space in the backyard. This job is not difficult, just simply air dry or stir fry the medicinal materials that are damp in the warehouse, or those that have just been purchased and have not yet been put into storage. While he was busy, the characteristics of various medicinal materials began to automatically correspond to the map in Wei Han's mind. Garcinia cambogia, cylindrical, sometimes irregular lumps or fragments, reddish-yellow or orange-yellow in appearance. Slight gas, pungent, cold in nature, sour and astringent, with detumescence and pus discharge, scattered blood stasis detoxification, the effect of killing insects and relieving itching. 1 point red, also known as sheep's foot grass, has erect stems, sometimes branched, slightly fleshy leaves, and oval leaves on the lower part of the stem. Slight odor, light taste, cool in nature, bitter in taste, has the effects of clearing away heat, detoxification, anti-inflammatory and diuretic. 9-section calamus, also known as chicken claw lotus, has horizontal rhizomes, cylindrical, glabrous, 3 compound leaves, and broad ovate leaves. Slight gas, slightly sour taste, warm nature, pungent taste, resuscitating phlegm, calming the nerves, refreshing effect. Wei Han was drying the herbs on the dustpan, while silently identifying their map functions. Then quietly picked up a piece of calamus and tasted it casually. Ding! After you swallow medicinal herbs that calm the nerves and refresh the brain, the hang-up speed of the Basic Medicinal Material Identification Atlas will increase by 3 times, and the duration will last for 3 hours. Ding! If you swallow medicinal herbs that calm the nerves and refresh the brain, the hang-up speed of the Basic Medicinal Material Identification Atlas will increase by 2 times, and the duration will last for 3 hours. System prompts sounded continuously. The speed of information analysis in Wei Han's mind immediately soared. After a series of experiments he found out. Swallowing the calming and refreshing medicinal materials prompted by the system can really speed up the hang-up speed of the map. Only one piece of the same type of medicinal material can be swallowed, and multiple swallows can only add time, not multiples. But different types of medicinal materials, but they can be multiplied. 9-section calamus, borneal, showu vine, jujube seed, toad cake, silk juniper flower. The more Wei Han eats, the happier he is. Anyway, he is immortal, and he is not afraid of poison or not. After eating 20 or 30 kinds of calming and refreshing herbs in a row, the hang-up speed is fixed at 50 times, and it can no longer be increased. Compared with the previous turtle speed, it is definitely a rocket speed now. The information and efficacy of various medicinal materials were tossing, memorizing, and dialectizing in his mind. Wei Han squinted his eyes slightly and was already silently mastering the habits of a large number of medicinal materials. Less than 2 hours later, a reminder sounded again. Ding! Your Basic Medicinal Material Identification Atlas has been upgraded. It is currently in 50-fold on-hook mode, and your proficiency is March 2000. In an instant, Wei Han's understanding of medicinal materials improved again. He didn't even have to open his eyes to touch or smell it from afar. Immediately know what kind of medicinal material is in front of you, what size it is, what kind of habit it has, and what disease it is suitable for treating. Therefore, his working efficiency has also increased sharply. Skills such as drying, arranging, and stir-frying can be described as extremely skilled. Not only did he compare several other new handymen at once. Even many older apprentices are inferior to him in details. But Wei Han didn't know that Guanshi Su, who was on patrol, had already silently noticed his performance. If you like it, please collect it and get fat. End of this chapter. Mysterious World, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 4, 2 Body Forging Methods, start hanging up. Favorites. Chapter 4 2-door forging method, start hanging up. Favorites. At dusk. The handyman apprentices ended their busy day. Regardless of their fatigue, everyone gathered on the training ground after a hasty dinner. The practice field of Chen's pharmacy is not big, it only occupies a 10-foot square open space on the left side of the backyard. Dozens of new and old apprentices crowded the place tightly. A middle-aged man in a black robe stood on the spot. His eyes were as sharp as a knife, and everyone was stunned at a glance. There was a chill in the crowd, and the atmosphere became a little depressing. My servant, Wang Mu, has been serving as the martial arts instructor for the team. The middle-aged man said loudly, "You can call me Instructor Wang. Meet Coach Wang." The teenagers greeted each other with interest. Instructor Wang nodded with satisfaction, and continued, "The world is chaotic today. Whether it is practicing medicine, going up to the mountains to collect medicine, or guarding the medicine garden, you need force to protect the way. It's just a dish in someone else's bowl. Everyone is a disaster victim who came from a poor family. If you want to live better than others, you have to work hard. Now that the pharmacy has given you a chance to turn around, you don't know how to flatter you, do you understand?" "Yes." The teenagers roared with high morale. The sky-shattering voice drew attention from inside and outside the pharmacy. Many elderly people in the pharmacy looked at this place with a touch of nostalgia. Once upon a time they were so passionate. Warrior, first practice fists and feet and then enter swords. Coach Wang continued, the first step is to use physical training as the foundation, which is called the training realm. Then step by step, refining the skin, refining the blood, forging the bones, washing the marrow, opening up the orifices, until the heaven and man are united, the powerful can pull mountains and rivers, and slay demons. Our Chen's pharmacy has two basic training methods, namely, Hunyuan Gong and Wu Qin Ju. Although they are not superior methods, they are also stronger than the general martial arts. They can let you directly pointing to the existence of the peak of the cultivation realm. Now I'll practice each one again, and you guys are optimistic about it. You are not required to learn both subjects, but you can choose the one that suits you best. After Coach Wang finished speaking, he put up a posture and started practicing boxing. I saw him punching, kicking and yelling continuously, flowing in the clouds and flowing water. The wind of his fists carried great power, shaking up the dust from time to time, making the eyes of the teenagers shine. So strong. This Hunyuan Kung Fu looks very good. Not bad. I heard from the old man in the pharmacy that this Hunyuan Kung Fu is not very good, it's just a little bit better than the bad street Kung Fu. I don't know how powerful Five Birds Ju is, and whether it's too difficult. The teenagers were discussing excitedly. Instructor Wang didn't talk too much nonsense, and spent an incense stick of time practicing both exercises, explaining them while demonstrating them. Hunyuan Gong is a body training method. There are a total of 9 forms and 36 movements. Stimulates every muscle in your body to get stronger. The Five Birds Ju is more complicated. It imitates 5 animals, tiger, deer, bear, ape, and crane. It has a total of 18 movements and 81 movements. Once practiced, it will have the power of 5 birds. Amazing power. It would be best if you can practice Five Birds Ju. If you can't, don't force it. Most of our guards practice Hunyuan Gong. In addition, you are still young, and you have not been able to eat enough for a long time, and your physique is not up to the standard of tempering. It is good to get familiar with the movements first. Don't practice forcibly. You can practice again when your body is strong. Coach Wang explained patiently. His original intention was to let everyone have an impression of the exercises, and then choose one that suits them to practice. But he never expected that Wei Han beside him had a strange face. The system has quietly included the full version of the 2 physical training methods. Ding! Hunyuan Gong has been included successfully. It is currently in the normal hang-up mode. The proficiency increase is 3 points per hour, and the current proficiency is 1/1000 for beginners. Friendly reminder, Krypton Gold can increase the speed of this skill's hang-up. Ding! Five Birds Tactics has been successfully included. It is currently in the normal hang-up mode. The proficiency increase is 1 point per hour, and the current proficiency is 2 out of 1000 for beginners. Friendly reminder, Krypton Gold or observing the habits of 5 birds can increase the speed of this skill. Ding! You have listened to the skills of Hunyuan Gong, proficiency +2. Ding! You have listened to the Wu Qin Ju technique, proficiency +1. A series of reminders kept ringing. Wei Han's eyes lit up immediately. Listening to Instructor Wang's lectures can improve proficiency. This feeling of becoming stronger while lying down is really refreshing. Wei Han seems to have 2 more clones in his mind. They are constantly practicing Hunyuan Gong and Wu Qin Ju. These 2 seemingly complicated body training methods have been gradually recorded by him. At the same time, the exercises began to temper the body. Wei Han only felt his muscles keep heating up. The billions of cells in his body seemed to be screaming. They are like rain after a long drought, naturally eager to consume more energy. Hundreds of billions of cells were burning like a boil, his whole body was churning with blood as if he had punched a few sets of punches, his stomach was also running crazily, and the food he had just eaten turned into nutrients, constantly nourishing his body. Oops. So hungry. Fuck. A terrifying sense of hunger struck. The food just eaten is turned into nutrients and absorbed. Wei Han's physique and qi and blood have inadvertently increased a lot. But the intense hunger made his uncomfortable cheeks twitch. It is not a panacea to automatically hang up and become stronger. The so-called clever woman can't cook without rice. In the case of no energy intake, automatic cultivation is a kind of torture. Wei Han quickly stopped the on-hook of the 2 exercises. After taking a deep breath, I suppressed my depression, and there was only one thought in my mind: to make money. Poor culture and rich martial arts, without enough resources, even practicing martial arts is a luxury. With lingering fear in his heart, Wei Han grabbed a few white peony roots and swallowed them raw, which eased his hunger a lot. Fortunately, this is a pharmacy, and there are medicinal materials waiting to be processed everywhere. White peony root looks similar to yam, and it can satisfy your hunger after chewing a few mouthfuls. Wait. Huh. Wei Han suddenly noticed something was wrong. The white peony had just been swallowed, and was immediately crushed by the hungry stomach. His stomach crushed and absorbed like a meat grinder. Bursts of invisible nourishing medicinal power penetrated into every part of the body. Wei Han immediately narrowed his eyes comfortably. It turns out that not only food can be used as nourishment for the body, but also medicinal materials. Wei Han analyzed in surprise. Ordinary people may worry that medicinal materials are poisonous, or that the deficiency will not be replenished, but I don't have to worry. Anyway, no matter what I do, I won't die. The system will automatically remove the toxins in the medicinal materials that are harmful to my body, while the ones that are beneficial to me will remain. So I can continue to swallow medicinal materials, absorb the nourishing nutrients, and maintain my hang-up upgrade. The more Wei Han thought about it, the happier he became, and he resolutely stuffed a few more handfuls of white peony into his mouth. At the same time, the automatic hang-ups of the 2 exercises for physical strength and strength were also turned on again. Unknowingly, the feeling gradually became stronger, making him gradually intoxicated by it and unable to extricate himself. End of this chapter. Mysterious world, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 5, Special Care, 7 points for raising and 3 points for training. Favorites. Chapter 5 Special Care, 7 points for raising and 3 points for training. Favorites. An hour passed. Instructor Wang ended the short martial arts class on time. Only a few hardworking old apprentices and a group of hot-blooded teenagers were still groping for practice, refusing to go back to the room to rest. Hee, so what if you practice more? In the end, you won't be a handyman. These idiots are weak and dare to practice more. If they break down, they will cry. It's okay, anyone who just came in is 3-point hot, and they won't work hard after a few days. No, I'm tired during the day and have to practice martial arts at night. My body can't stand it anymore. I'd better wash up and sleep. Several old apprentices were talking sarcastically. The teenagers did not dare to refute, and each of them only dared to practice hard. They want to get ahead, but they don't understand the truth of going too far. Wei Han, why don't you practice? When Wang Taizhu was exhausted, he subconsciously looked at Wei Han, who was resting aside. He was half lying on the pyre under the eaves. The leisurely look is not to mention how chic. Compared with other hardworking teenagers, he seems out of place. I can't do it. Wei Han sneered, and explained casually, after fleeing for several months, I was so hungry that I really didn't have the energy to practice. I plan to train for a few months. The teenagers cast contemptuous glances upon hearing the words. Obviously thinks he is a person who is afraid of hardship and tiredness. The old apprentices looked at Wei Han in surprise and smiled. This kid is a fine person, and he understands the principle of raising 7 points and practicing 3 points. One of them muttered. You guys practice first, I'll go back to sleep first. Wei Han yawned and walked back. After a simple wash, he fell into a deep sleep in the chase shop. The 3 automatic on-hook positions are running at high speed, and all kinds of information are intertwined in his mind. The energy consumed makes Wei Han very tired, and sleep is the best way to recuperate. In a daze, Wei Han only felt that his cognition of various medicinal materials had become more profound, as if he had absorbed a lot of knowledge in his sleep. At the same time, his blood gradually filled up. The thin body began to grow stronger with the long breathing. Wei Han slept very soundly this time, and he was not awakened from his sleep until the terrifying hunger came again. Damn it, I'm hungry again. Wei Han had expected this, and quickly took out 2 pieces of white peony root from his bosom and swallowed them. At this time, he realized that it was already late at night, and earth-shaking changes had also taken place on the attribute board. Eternal Immortality Hang-Up Power-Up System. Player, Wei Han. Age, 14. Lifespan, Immortality, Fixed. Cultivation Base, in the early stage of strength training, Forging Progress, 0.3%. Cultivation Methods, Hunyuan Gong, Wu Qin Ju. Skills Encyclopedia, Cooking, Small Success, 35/3000, Fishing, Introduction, 12/1000, Planting, Introduction, 88/1000, Basic Medicinal Material Identification, Small Success, 127/3000. Automatic Hang-Up, Basic Medicinal Material Identification Map, Proficiency, Xiaocheng 127/3000, currently 50 times on hook mode, and the increase is 250 points per hour. Automatic Hang-Up, Hunyuan Gong, Proficiency, Beginner 32/1000, currently in normal hang-up mode, increase by 3 points per hour. Automatic Hang-Up, Wu Qin Ju, Proficiency, Beginner 21/1000, currently in normal hang-up mode, increase by 2 points per hour. This speed is a bit slow. Fortunately, the speed of identifying the map of medicinal materials is good, and I have broken through from proficiency to small success in one fell swoop. It seems that in a day or two, we should be able to brush to the top. Wei Han analyzed happily. Feeling that his body has gradually become healthy and glowing with bursts of vigor and vitality, he immediately became happy. However, this smile didn't last long before being stunned by the stench. I saw a row of teenagers lying in disorder in the datong shop in the middle of the night. These guys don't have good hygiene habits. After practicing martial arts, they sweat profusely and don't wash up. They don't even wash their feet before falling asleep. The air is not only filled with the smell of sweat. There is also the smell of feet like dead salted fish. Various grunting sounds came and went, as if several chainsaws were roaring. It stinks. Ba ba ba. Wei Han fled here with disgust on his face. Thanks to him sleeping so soundly just now, he almost didn't spit it out now. At this moment, he missed the bridge hole where he lived on the way to escape. Sleeping on the street is better than living in this kind of datong shop. If you want to make money, you must make money. Maid, I don't want to live in a dormitory even if I live in a pigsty. I must make money and move out as soon as possible, otherwise I will be marinated sooner or later. Wei Han cursed while wrapping himself in a quilt. Curled up on the firewood stack by the eaves and wanted to continue to sleep. But the drowsiness had already disappeared. Wei Han had no choice but to put away the quilt, then moved his hands and feet, opened a Wu Qin Ju starting hand formula, and began to fist and kick on the training ground. His movements were slow and jerky, but very standard. Every move has a special charm. Breathing in and out continuously stimulates many tiny muscles in the body. After a while, Wei Han began to sweat all over his body, and his once weak body gradually recovered during this kind of exercise. Streams of vitality and strength gushed out from his body. This process of becoming stronger gradually made him obsessed and enjoyed it endlessly. Early morning. Genius is gray and bright. Manager Su's voice spread throughout the backyard. Get up, don't dawdle, what time are you still not getting up to work? I have to invite you, right? In bursts of soft cursing. The sleeping backyard gradually became noisy. The old pharmacy apprentice who was used to getting up early, and the sleepy new handyman, all got up helplessly from their sleep and started a busy day. Until the sun was 3 poles, the 70 and 80 people gathered outside the kitchen, eating breakfast happily. Because the 2 forging exercises have been tempering the body. Wei Han only felt that his body had endless strength today. Thus, even though he was busy with work, he didn't complain. Instead, he felt very relaxed and his appetite became better and better. But just as he finished his breakfast and was about to continue working, Manager Su appeared in front of him, nodded slightly and said, Wei Han, you will be transferred to work in the warehouse from today, and you don't need to dry the medicinal materials outside. Ah. Everyone around was surprised. New handymen may not understand what this means. But the old apprentice couldn't help showing a trace of jealousy. Manager Su, is this your relative? Take care of him like this? Hey, you have never taken care of us like this before. Isn't it? I went to the warehouse to stay when I first came here. The treatment is not bad. The old apprentices are talking about each other in a strange way, obviously they are not in balance. After all, they all know that there is no wind or rain in the warehouse, and the work tasks are not heavy, so they can be lazy if they have nothing to do. And there are many medicinal materials in the warehouse, which is most suitable for identification and learning. In the past, most of the pharmacists with some skills had been in the warehouse. Manager Su suddenly stuffed Wei Han, a newcomer, into the warehouse. How could they not be jealous? You bastard, how I arrange it depends on your faces, right? Steward Su glared and scolded, recently, the warehouse work is too busy. Wei Han has learned how to deal with medicinal materials before, and he did a good job yesterday. I will arrange for him. Can't you go to the warehouse? Guan Su has a lot of prestige. Staring at them, the old apprentices dodged one after another. None of them dared to talk too much. But at this moment, an apprentice in Xingyi stood up with a smile and said, Guard Su, our warehouse is busy enough, so we don't need to add people. Continue to ask for collection and recommendation tickets. End of this chapter. Mysterious world, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 6, A Penny Beats a Hero. Favorites. Chapter 6, A Penny Beats a Hero. Favorites. The speaker is a man in his early 20s. A young man with a thin body and a gloomy face. He seemed to be of unusual status. As soon as he spoke, 3 or 4 old apprentices stood behind him and supported him. Yes, our warehouse is still busy, so we don't need to add people. The warehouse only needs so much work, so why use so many people? Manager Su should arrange this little brother to another place. Several people talked and persuaded. Although there is a smile on his face, his attitude is very tough. Inexplicably, he confronted Guancher Su. Wei Han looked at the weird atmosphere at the scene, and his eyes couldn't help revealing a bit of weirdness. Now any fool can see that something is wrong. It seems that Manager Su is not in the same way as the old fritters in the warehouse. He wanted to stuff people into the warehouse, but the other party tried their best to stop him. If there is nothing tricky in this, no one will believe it. Hee. Manager Su said with an ugly face, Chen Jihong, you don't think that the warehouse is your territory. I have to ask you to arrange the manpower, right? Don't dare. The young man in Xingyi smiled and said, it's just that there is nothing to do in this warehouse. Adding more people will just waste manpower and increase the burden on our pharmacy. Isn't that good? This is not something you should consider. Manager Su said coldly, from today onwards, Wei Han will go to work in the warehouse. This is my arrangement, not to ask for your opinion. Chen Jihong and his group's complexions suddenly turned livid. They didn't dare to confront Guancher Su, but just looked at Wei Han coldly. Brother Wei, right? Chen Jihong said with a half-smile, maybe the warehouse is not suitable for you, why don't you talk to the manager? Wei Han, don't go. He seems to be a collateral branch of the Chen family, so it's not easy to mess with. Wang Taizhu and Cui Bin reminded in a low voice. Wei Han smiled indifferently, and didn't care about the reminder of the two. He didn't mind that Manager Su wanted to use him as a knife. After all, he was cultivating himself, and the warehouse was also a good place. For Wei Han, this is a treasure land where he can be lazy and eat medicinal materials casually, so he really wants to go in. But Chen Jihong couldn't beat Guancher Su, and came to threaten him. It's just a collateral branch of the Chen family, who are you scaring? Sorry. Wei Han didn't seem to see his threat, and said calmly, I will go wherever Manager Su arranges for me. Okay, ha ha ha. Manager Su laughed and said, that's it. Wei Han will help out in the warehouse in the future. You guys should take him with you. After finishing speaking, Manager Su left without rejection. The faces of Chen Jihong and others became even more difficult to look at. Pairs of icy eyes stared straight at Wei Han, as if wishing to kill him. The new and old apprentices around couldn't help but gloat and discuss. Hey, is this guy a fool? He even dares to offend Qin Jihong. Something that is not afraid of death. Hee, silly Henin thought he was getting something out of it, but he doesn't know that the warehouse is someone else's territory. Wait, I bet that within a month, he will have his legs broken and thrown out of the pharmacy. Fart, I bet he won't be able to hold on for 7 days. Bursts of discussions entered the eardrums. Wei Han still smiled, without any panic. Snort. Qin Jihong didn't say anything more when he saw this. He gave him a deadly look, and left with the people. Wei Han, you shouldn't have agreed. Cui Bin couldn't help persuading. I heard people say that although our pharmacy is not big, there are factions. If you offend people, you will be targeted easily. It's better to continue drying the medicinal materials. Yes, even sweeping the latrine is better than offending people. Wang Taizhu was full of worry. Why don't you go talk to Manager Su again? No, the warehouse is pretty good, so get busy. Wei Han patted them on the shoulder indifferently, and then went straight to the warehouse. As the saying goes, where there are people, there are rivers and lakes, and disputes are indispensable wherever they are. Although Wei Han decided to live forever, it doesn't mean he wants to be a coward. What if just a random branch of the Qin family can frighten him? Then what is the meaning of immortality? And there are so many medicinal materials in the warehouse, he absolutely doesn't want to miss them. Therefore, Wei Han didn't care about other people's eyes, but followed Qin Jihong and his party calmly, and finally came to a warehouse. This is a warehouse with dozens of warehouses separated inside. There are a lot of dried and stir-fried medicinal materials stored inside. All stored on a large shelf. The work of Qin Jihong and others is also very simple. Every day is to register the delivery and storage of the warehouse, and then receive and store it. Brothers, just do what you should do. Qin Jihong said casually, gather at Wangjianglu at night, I'll treat you. Brother Qin is arrogant, haha. We're not welcome. Yeah, Brother Qin spent a lot of money. A few old apprentices cheerfully flattered. None of the people present looked at Wei Han again. After chatting for a few minutes, they started to go about their own business. No one came to talk to him, let alone teach him what to do in the warehouse. Wei Han didn't care about this, he knew he wasn't welcome. I don't bother to curry favor with these people, let alone hope to blend in here. He is happier when no one arranges him to work, just walking around in the warehouse, pretending to touch fish, isn't it better than anything else? Atractylodes macrocephala, Rhodiola rosea, Chishizi, bamboo ginseng, gynostemma. Radix, Shiwanzi, Zishawa, Sorolin, fenugreek. Wei Han cheerfully identified one medicinal material after another. When encountering medicines that nourish qi and blood, and nourish yin and yang, just throw a few pieces into your mouth and chew. Under the powerful grinding of the stomach, these medicinal materials turned into a steady stream of nutrients, nourishing the muscle cells all over his body, making his body and blood continue to grow stronger. At the same time, the proficiency of the Basic Medicinal Material Identification Atlas on the hang-up panel is also soaring, and it is getting closer and closer to Deshang. It's cool, there are still many good people in the world. I don't need to work and take care of food and housing, and I can take medicinal materials at any time. Is there anything more refreshing than this? Wei Han sighed flatteredly. The only regrets are Hunyuan Gong and 5 birds. The normal hang-up speed of these 2 bodybuilding exercises is too slow. The progress is 2 or 3 points an hour, and only 50 or 60 points a day. It takes 10 days and a half months to master any subject, which is slower than an old cow pulling a broken cart. Hunyuan Kung Fu can only speed up by Krypton Gold. In addition to Krypton Gold, Wuqin Ju can also speed up by observing the habits of 5 bird species. However, tigers, deer, bears, apes, and cranes are hard to find, right? There are some in the mountains and forests outside the city, but the danger is too high to be worthwhile. Let's find a way to make money. Wei Han scratched his head in distress. A penny is hard to die a hero. He started with a bowl, and he just finished solving the problem of food and clothing. It is quite a headache to worry about making money and finding a place to live now. If only I could learn some medical skills and become a doctor as soon as possible. Forget it, take your time, the days will always get better and better. Wei Han pondered for a moment and then laughed. Didn't think about anything else, turned around and continued to enjoy the medicinal materials happily. But a thought came to mind, is he stealing himself? Forget it. I didn't steal it and sell it. I just tasted it. How can a doctor not taste medicinal materials? And now I don't have a dime of wages, so it's not too much to taste a few medicines. At worst, I will become a doctor in the future, and the pharmacy will earn 1,000 times 100 times more money to compensate. Wei Han comforted himself, immediately let go of his knots, and continued to try the medicine with peace of mind. Ask for collection, ask for recommendation ticket. End of this chapter. Mysterious world, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 7, Atlas Full Level, Shenong tastes all kinds of herbs. Ask for a ticket. Chapter 7 Atlas Full Level, Shenong tastes all kinds of herbs. Ask for a ticket. Time passes day by day. It took half a month in a flash. Wei Han settled down completely in Chen's pharmacy. And the little days are getting better day by day. The sallow and thin figure has gradually become stronger because of martial arts training, and there is an unconcealable confidence and nobility in his eyes. In just 3 or 4 days, he has already mastered the basic medicinal material identification atlas to the full level, and created an extreme special effect Shenong Tasting Baichao. Shenong Tasting Baichao, your recognition of various basic medicinal materials has reached the point of no one before or since. Your sense of smell and taste sensitivity plus 10%, and the accuracy of identification of unknown medicinal materials increased by 50%. With this special effect, Wei Han will encounter unknown medicinal materials in the future. Just a few sniffs or a sip, you can probably know the habits and effects of the medicinal materials, and you don't have to worry about taking the wrong medicine. At this time, if he goes to study medicine again, it will become very easy. As for the vacant hang-up slot, he hung up the cooking skills without any hassle. It's a pity that the hang-up speed of Hunyuan Gong and 5 Birds Jew is still slow. Wei Han, who has no money to Krypton gold, can only endure in silence, relying on time to endure bit by bit. It's okay, anyway, you can live forever. It will always upgrade after a period of time. Wei Han's mentality is quite good. Stay in the warehouse every day and no one arranges work for him. Chen Jihong and others looked at him as if he was a transparent person, playing in isolation. If it is an ordinary teenager, he must be diagnosed with mental illness. But Wei Han still enjoys life happily. When I have nothing to do, I just punch hard in the corner. The warehouse is too small to use it with all its strength. It was as if he was doing Tai Chi, secretly running the dark power of the 2 exercises, constantly improving his proficiency, and his once jerky movements became natural and mellow. Under the seemingly slow movements, the muscles continue to bulge. One breath and one breath burst, and the dust flew up. It has the momentum of a half-step punch, and its power is very impressive. At the same time, Wei Han was still thinking about his plan to make money. During this period of time, he inquired about it openly and secretly. I found that it is as difficult as the sky for apprentice handymen to make money. I work hard every day and don't get paid a penny. Only during the holidays, the pharmacy will give some rewards, and it's only a few tens of pennies if I'm exhausted, just enough to buy some food. If you want to make money, you have to wait until you pass the assessment before you can get the regular money. However, Wei Han thought hard and found a way to make money, testing medicine. He found that the major pharmacies in Qingshan County, including Chen's pharmacy, would recruit poor people to test drugs for the sake of researching new drugs, and the price and remuneration were very considerable. The risk of this kind of drug testing is very high. If you are lucky, you will have nosebleeds and cough for a few days. If you are unlucky, you deserve to be poisoned to death. Therefore, most people would not dare to try medicine if they could not survive. But Wei Han dare. Who is he afraid of when he is immortal? Try to ask for leave tomorrow and go out to try it out, and I can make some money. Wei Han thought expectantly in his heart. Outside the warehouse. Chen Jihong and his younger brothers seemed a little aggrieved. These days they deliberately isolated Wei Han, but this guy didn't react at all, and he was cheerful every day, so angry that they almost felt internal injuries. Damn it, is this Wei Han out of his mind? We all have this attitude and he doesn't know how to get out. Damn it, isn't this too thick-skinned? No one pays attention to him, and he stays here every day in a cool way. How shameless. I think the longer he stays, the happier he is. He eats and drinks well every day, and doesn't have to do anything. He has gained a lot of weight. The key is that he didn't go out for half a month, and we didn't care if we wanted to find someone to beat him up. It's just disgusting. The younger brothers gritted their teeth in anger. Everyone wanted to besiege Wei Han on the spot. Chen Jihong's complexion is also not very good looking, because Wei Han is such an eye-catching nail in the warehouse, so it is inconvenient for him to do many things, and many ways to make money have been cut off. The surname Su is so cheap, he even arranged a nail in the warehouse, making us timid in doing things. Chen Jihong said angrily, "You have been observing him secretly for so long, didn't you find any mistakes in him?" "No, this kid is very active in eating every day. He hangs out in the warehouse when he is full. He can practice boxing secretly at most. He doesn't even sleep in. We can't catch it at all. Yeah, I've never seen such a smooth person, I'm so disgusted." The younger brothers complained full of resentment. Obviously, they didn't spend less time figuring out Wei Han's pain points. But there is nothing wrong with him, and no one can find a reason. "Brother Chen, there is one thing that is not right." A skinny young man thought for a while and said, "Yesterday, the amount of bamboo ginseng in the pharmacy increased, so I weighed it and found that it was 1 tael or 2 yuan less. Curiously, I checked it again, and found that the dosage of many medicinal materials had been reduced, and there must be more that I didn't find." Everyone's eyes lit up when they heard the words. Chen Jihong asked with great interest, "Some errors in the medicinal materials are inevitable. Could it be that you made a mistake? Or is it because the water content of the medicinal materials has decreased?" "No." The skinny young man shook his head and said, "We will count the medicinal materials every once in a while, and we know how much of what kind is left. After this kid came into the warehouse, many medicines are not counted." "Sure." Chen Jihong became excited immediately. Everyone couldn't help cheering up. Everyone subconsciously thought of a possibility: Wei Han couldn't be stealing medicine, right? It happened many times in the pharmacy in the past. Some apprentices were greedy, and they couldn't help but steal some medicinal materials, and then secretly took them out to sell them for profit. Every time such a fool is discovered, he will be sentenced to death. Not to mention broken hands and feet, the government will not care even if they are beaten to death in public. If Wei Han really stole the medicinal materials, then his fate will be miserable. "Brother Chen, I suddenly remembered something." A fat man said tentatively, "Every time I saw Wei Han, he was chewing something in his mouth. At that time, I thought he was trying to taste the medicine. It doesn't matter much. Thinking about it now, most of the shortfalls are warming and tonic medicinal materials. Could it be that he didn't steal them and sell them, but just ate them himself? It's not like this happened before." Everyone laughed when they heard the words. In the past, some apprentices did not understand the science of medicine and tried to swallow medicinal materials raw for nourishment. As a result, because he didn't understand the principle of three-point poison of medicine, he died suddenly on the spot due to the attack of Baichao poison without taking much. The death was quite miserable. Is this Wei Han so stupid now? It would be good if this is the case, he will be finished if we don't do it. Chen Jihong said angrily, "But there are so many medicinal materials in short supply, he can eat it by himself. If he really did this, he might have been poisoned long ago. Dead." "That's right, it's possible that he was stealing and selling while eating. Yes, in short, this matter must have something to do with him. Hee, Brother Chen can't let go of this opportunity. I originally wanted to give this kid a chance to escape and let him go. If he refuses, don't blame us for being cruel. Yes, if Mr. Pooh caught him in public, he would have to break his hands and feet and throw him out to feed the dogs. Everyone chatted excitedly, discussing excitedly. Chen Jihong couldn't help laughing, and pointed out, "Everyone, pay attention. If you confirm it, he will die in 2 days." End of this chapter. Mysterious world, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 8, Test Drug. Take your life to make money. Ask for a ticket. Chapter 8, Drug Testing. Take your life to make money. Ask for a ticket. The next day, Wei Han approached Guancher Su directly and asked him for a half-day leave. It hurts to have a lot of free time in the warehouse, and Manager Su knows the situation, so he directly granted the leave without asking. Wei Han left the pharmacy after lunch. First, in a deserted alley, he changed into his old tattered clothes and pretended to be an ordinary disaster victim. Then headed straight to the Chen's pharmacy branch 2 streets away. As the largest pharmacy in Qingshan County, Chen's pharmacy has 3 branches. Although the store is smaller, the flow of people is still lively, and no one here knows the disheveled Wei Han. As soon as he entered the branch, he was stopped and scolded by a young boy. "What are you doing? Beg for food, this is a pharmacy, not a restaurant." "Brother, I'm here to test medicine to make money, not to beg for food." Wei Han changed his voice and said with a silly smile. "Experimental medicine, right?" The young man's attitude eased a lot, took him to the side compartment and said, "Here is the experimental medicine, 1 tael of silver each time, life and death at your own risk." "Is there really 1 tael?" Wei Han pretended to be ecstatic. The servant curled his lips subconsciously, feeling contempt in his heart. "I thought to myself that these poor ghosts really have shallow eyelids, and 1 tael of silver is indeed a sky-high price. But if you have a life to make money, you have to have a life to spend it. Do you know how many people are carried out every day? Go go." The boy was not interested in saying anything. He just waved his hand and turned around to leave here. Wei Han took a look at the small cubicle at this time, and found a counter inside. An apprentice doctor was registering to distribute medicine, and there were 7 or 8 disaster victims who were worse than beggars in line. In the compartment, there are more than a dozen people who have tried the medicine and are waiting for the results. Most of them looked sluggish, some were dying from nosebleeds, and some were rolling all over their stomachs, looking very irritating. There is also an apprentice physician next to him, who keeps asking and recording their feelings. Really treats people like guinea pigs, cruel to the extreme. "Brother, why don't you forget about it? I heard that this test drug will kill people, and there are many corpses added to the mass graves every day. What are you afraid of? There is nothing to worry about if we are strong. It's only 1 tael of silver at a time. Let's find a job to carry a big bag, and there is more than $1 or $2 a month. Even if we can't find it, there are big families outside the city who donate porridge. You won't die of hunger. Go away, you want to drink gruel, I want to eat meat." A pair of brothers in front of Wei Han were discussing in a low voice. Although the sound was not loud, it spread throughout the cubicle. Everyone has different expressions, some are excited and some are flinching. But in the end, they still couldn't resist the magic of money. Each of them gritted their toothpicks and signed the drug trial contract, then took the pill and swallowed it. Cough cough cough. Puff. At this time, an elderly drug tester coughed violently and vomited blood. Before everyone could react, he fell directly to the ground, twitching and dying. "Dead, dead, he is taking the same medicine as us. My mother, we won't die too, will we?" Everyone immediately panicked. The 2 pharmacist apprentices were not surprised, they didn't even bother to lift their eyelids, they just waved their hands to let the handyman drag the corpse away. "It's just a few people who died in this year, it's not going to make any waves at all. If you don't have a signature, you still have time to quit. It's not easy to earn money." An apprentice sneered and said, "Today we are trying the newly developed ancient residual Fong Longhu pill, which is refined from 36 kinds of precious medicinal materials. The cost of a pill is more expensive than your life. And in order to suppress the hot and dry tiger blood in the pill, I also specially added a few cold and slightly poisonous medicines, so the risk of testing the medicine is very high, otherwise I wouldn't have offered a sky-high price of 1 tael of silver. After you think about it, sign it. There is no way to go back on your fingerprints." The apprentice's words were cold inside and out. But it can be seen that he is a warm-hearted person, and he can't bear the random death of the victims here. It's so dangerous. I'd better forget it. The government's porridge can also drink half full, as long as you don't starve to death. I'm afraid of a fart, my life is hard. That is, why are you afraid of death if you are not afraid of being poor? After a few people in line discussed for a while. Only one young man with a yellow and thin face retreated timidly. Others still signed and pressed their thumbprints, and then swallowed the pills. When Wei Han arrived, the apprentice in charge of the registration asked without raising his eyes, "How many to try?" "How many?" Wei Han was taken aback, and asked, "Isn't there one for each person?" "Of course not." The apprentice doctor explained impatiently, "One is only the lowest grade. Sometimes, in order to test the limits of new medicines, we allow multiple pills to be swallowed together. In short, every extra pill swallowed will add 1 tael of silver. Do you want to do it?" "Do it." Wei Han smiled immediately, raised his hand without hesitation and said, 5, hurry up." "How many?" The 2 apprentice physicians were taken aback. The other drug testers also stared with dazed faces, looking at Wei Han as if they were looking at a fool. This is a great tonic prepared for warriors, and it is an ancient remnant that has not yet been developed, and even a single one is easy to kill. No matter how strong a person is, he only dares to try 2. Is this guy crazy? Want to try 5? I'm short of money. Wei Han held back a tear and pretended to be sad and explained, "My sister is seriously ill and urgently needs to see a doctor." The doctor said at least 5 taels of silver can be cured. As soon as the words fell, the shock in everyone's eyes turned into pity. Immediately afterwards, there were sighs from the crowd, but no one persuaded him any more. Which one of the people present is not a broken family? It is not uncommon for poor people to risk their lives to make money. Okay. The apprentice doctor nodded and said, "This is a contract. You can get money to test the medicine after you sign the painting." Good. Wei Han didn't even think about it, and signed directly. The name was filled with Wang Wu casually, and he received an ingot of 5 taels of silver on the spot, and then swallowed 5 dragon and tiger pills in a row under the witness of everyone. Wei Han pretended to change his face drastically. Under the gazes of the crowd, be it pity or greed, they sat silently aside and did not make a sound. But his heart was already full of joy, because he clearly felt a powerful medicine dissolving in his body, and at the same time, a burst of toxin was eroding his body. It's a pity that the toxin has been expelled by the system before it can take effect. Instead, the warming and tonic medicinal power was retained, continuing to nourish the body. It's so powerful. It's stronger than I swallowed 2 caddies of dry medicinal materials. It seems that the refined medicine has improved a lot. Huh. There are tortoise shells, sealwort, 5-finger peach, thorns, velvet, remania. There is also a fierce medicine that should be tiger blood. The prescription is wrong. You shouldn't use so many warming and tonic medicines. You should reduce the amount of acanthopanax and velvet antler. You have to add red peony root and scorpion vine to neutralize it. Only warriors in the late stage of strength training like this kind of strong medicine dare to take it. Ordinary people who swallow it will get nosebleeds, abdominal pain and get angry, and in severe cases, they will die suddenly on the spot. Wei Han muttered secretly in his heart. Shen Nong tasted the special effects of Bai Chao, which made him know all kinds of medicines well. The pros and cons of the medicinal materials in the dragon tiger pill were quickly analyzed by him. Time passed by every minute and every second. Wei Han stayed here pretending to be weak for half an hour according to the rules of drug testing, and he still didn't die. This shocked everyone who thought he would die suddenly on the spot. Their jaws dropped. "It's time, can I go?" Wei Han stood up cheerfully, patted his and left without waiting for the 2 apprentice doctors to say anything, leaving only a bunch of dumbfounded people looking at each other. 52 taels of money, easy to get. But Wei Han was still not satisfied, so after some pretense, he rushed to the next pharmacy. Continue to update, please read and vote. End of this chapter. Mysterious world, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 9, Number 091 Arm Jack is the limit of strength training. Seeking follow-up. Chapter 9 Chapter 091 Arm Jack is the limit of strength training. Seek further reading. At dusk. Outside the kitchen in the backyard of Chen's pharmacy. Dozens of apprentices squatted on the ground in a mess again, eating dinner with bowls and chopsticks in their hands, and Wei Han, who came back from testing the medicine, was among them. Have you heard? A fierce man came out of the branch today. He tried 5 dragon and tiger pills in one go, but he didn't die. He made 5 taels of silver easily. An old apprentice in his 30s chatted cheerfully while eating his food. A few words aroused everyone's interest, and many people even exclaimed. 5 taels. My mother, we can't make so much money in a year. Yeah, this money is too easy to earn, right? Didn't you send it after a few tries? Fart. Trying medicine will kill people. In the past few days, 12 or 3 people have died in the branch store. The average person can't bear it. Everyone chatted in a hurry. Wei Han, who bowed his head while cooking, couldn't help but sneered. 5 taels. Who do you look down on? Brother did 4-5 taels at once. One afternoon, Wei Han pretended to go to various pharmacies many times. By testing the medicine 5 pieces at a time, I directly earned 20 taels of silver. Not only did he have nothing to do with himself, but he also had a lot of proficiency in Hunyuan Gong and Wu Qin Ju because of his qi and blood after taking many tonics. Now he even more arrogantly turned on the Krypton Gold Acceleration hang-up. 1 tael of silver can turn on the 10-fold hang-up mode, which lasts for 24 hours. 10 taels of silver, but only 50 times the on-hook mode can be turned on, and the duration is also 24 hours. It seems that the higher the hang-up speed, the more Krypton Gold. On the contrary, the 10 times mode is more cost-effective. 20 taels is enough to hang 2 exercises for 10 days. Wei Han thought happily, while looking at his attribute version. Eternal Immortality Hang-Up Power-Up System. Player, Wei Han. Age, 14. Lifespan, Immortality, Fixed. Cultivation Base, in the early stage of strength training, Forging Progress, 5.7%. Cultivation Methods, Hunyuan Gong, Wu Qin Ju. Skills Encyclopedia, Cooking, Small Success, 889/3000, Fishing, Introductory 12/1000, Planting, Introduction, 88/1000, Basic Medicinal Material Identification, Extreme, Activate Special Effects, Shenong Tasting Herbs. Automatic Hang-Up, Cooking, Proficiency, Xiaocheng 889/3000, currently in normal hang-up mode, the increase is 4 points per hour, enjoying delicious food can increase the hang-up speed. Automatically hang up, Hunyuan Gong, Proficiency, Mastery 189/2000, currently 10 times on hook mode, increase 30 points per hour, last 10 days. Automatic hang up, Wu Qin Ju, Proficiency, Beginner 873/1000, currently 10 times on hook mode, increase 20 points per hour, last 10 days. 10 days is enough to push Hunyuan Gong to the realm of great success, and at the same time to brush 5 Birds Ju to a small success. In this way, the strength should skyrocket a lot, but the last 10 times hang up, the need for supplements is indispensable. It's a pity that we can't do more testing medicine, otherwise we have to fish a few more times. Wei Han shook his head regretfully. He knew that he could not continue to test drugs in a short time. After all, if you play this kind of thing too much, it is easy for people to discover your immortality. Fortunately, he disguised himself this time, either pretending to be a one-eyed dragon every time, so he wasn't worried about being targeted. Wei Han, what are you thinking? Wang Taizhu on the side pushed him and asked, I heard that you asked for leave today and went out for a trip. Yeah. Wei Han said casually, going out for a stroll. We don't have money in our pockets, so it's useless to go shopping. Wang Taizhu sighed and said, let's practice martial arts well. Practice fart. Chuibin muttered angrily. In the beginning, everyone screamed with enthusiasm, practicing every day without fear of hardship or tiredness, but now what have they achieved? We are exhausted from working every day, and our bodies are weak and thin. We can't temper our bodies by relying on 3 meals a day. Several people who practiced forcibly fell ill. Let me see, you can't rush to practice martial arts. Don't you think Wei Han doesn't practice much? Poor culture and rich martial arts, that's what rich people practice. If you continue to practice, you will lose your life and body. Cui Bin's complaint silenced everyone around him. Because everyone has discovered this situation recently. Originally, the teenagers were born as victims of disasters, and they had just met their food and clothing, but their bodies had not yet taken care of themselves. While practicing martial arts is good, it is not suitable for today's teenagers. After all, if you punch a punch, you will be hungry. How can you continue to temper? Smart people have already stopped practicing silently, and turned their heads to recite the identification atlas of basic medicinal materials, hoping to follow the path of physician apprenticeship. For example, Cui Bin is like this. Now he is busy endorsing books every day. You guys, don't give up. Wang Taizhu said anxiously, even if you don't become a guard these days, it's always right to practice martial arts to strengthen your body. Don't you think that Qin Liang can practice well? He is the most powerful among our group of people. Top-notch, now he has reached the peak of the early stage of strength training, he can lift 200 caddies with one arm, Coach Wang is full of praise for him. After finishing speaking, Wang Taizhu looked enviously at a young man who was surrounded by stars and moon. He was taller than ordinary people, with fair skin, and he looked shrewd. Hee. Cui Bin struck disdainfully, the old man Qin Liang is a wealthy businessman in Yuzhou. He quickly gained a foothold after fleeing and coming to Qingshan County. He keeps nourishing decoctions every day. Are we worthy of comparison? That's right, I heard that Qin Liang's father just bought several shops. He doesn't live in the Datong shop at night. There is a third courtyard outside the pharmacy, and there are servants. We don't even dare to expect to be full, how can we compare with him? The teenagers were discussing in low voices. The brilliance in Wang Tieju's eyes dimmed a lot in an instant. Wei Han listened to the chatter on the side, but he became a little interested. Qin Liang is now at the peak of the early stage of strength training. Can only lift 200 caddies with one arm. His system attribute version shows that he is also in the early stage of strength training. How could the gap between the two be so big? How is the strength of the strength training realm divided? Wei Han asked curiously. I know. Wang Taizhu thought for a while, and then talked eloquently. Coach Wang said that lifting less than 200 jin with one arm is the early stage of strength training, 400 jin is the middle stage, 600 jin is the late stage, 800 jin is perfect, and 1000 jin is perfect. Jin is the limit, you can try to break through to the skin refining level. Wei Han's face became weird again when he heard this. Something is wrong, absolutely something is wrong. The average person's one-arm gigantic strength is the limit. But why does he feel nothing at all, and the system still shows that he is in the early stage of strength training? Could it be that his refining limit is different from that of ordinary people? There is another possibility. Ordinary people don't have so much energy and cost to exercise patiently and meticulously. So everyone has agreed to make a custom, and it will start to break through when it reaches the strength of 1,000 caddies. This one-arm jack is not the limit, but the minimum, below which the skin refining cannot be completed. Wei Han thought for a while and probably understood the mystery. He is 100% sure that his judgment is correct. For children of powerful families to practice martial arts, 1,000 caddies is definitely not the limit. And for Wei Han, a strange woman who is open to cheating, Qianjin is just the beginning. End of this chapter. Mysterious world, I live forever by hanging up my phone. Chapter 10, Stealing chickens is not enough to lose money. Ask for a ticket. Chapter 10 Stealing chickens is not enough to lose money. Ask for a ticket. An open life always makes people happy. Since dropping 20 taels and turning on the 10-fold hang-up mode, Wei Han's strength has undergone earth-shaking changes every day, so that he has lived a very comfortable life. No need to study hard, no need to work hard. Just wander around the warehouse a few times a day and taste all kinds of nourishing medicinal materials, and you can achieve what others can only achieve with 10 times and 100 times of effort. Witnessing his own powerful process day by day, this sourness makes him very happy every day. But after a few days of comfort, trouble came quietly. One evening when he was about to call it a day and go to the kitchen to make dinner, Chen Jihong, along with a few younger brothers, Pu Xingxian, the shopkeeper of the pharmacy, and manager Su blocked him. "Mr. Pu, Guancher Su." Wei Han cupped his hands in surprise. "Who are you? Don't talk nonsense, hold it down first, search for me." Chen Jihong waved his hand, and the younger brothers rushed over like wolves. He directly held Wei Han down, and then began to search his body with his hands up and down. "You." Wei Han pretended to be frightened and angry, but he didn't panic in the bottom of his heart. After all, he had expected to be targeted, so he had already expected it. In just over half a month, his Hunyuan Gong has broken through to a small success, and Five Birds Ju has also reached proficiency, with a single arm strength exceeding 1,300 caddies. If he really wants to resist, he can throw everyone away by raising his hand. Where are a few powerless people who can hold it down? Brother Chen, no. Strange, nothing. After searching for a while, the younger brothers shook their heads with ugly faces. "You bastard." Manager Su also got excited at this moment, and said angrily, "If you can't find it, let it go, you want to wrong someone? Let go." Pu Xingxian also snorted seriously. The little brothers smiled awkwardly and let go. At this time, Wei Han asked with a face full of shock, "Guancher Su, Mr. Pu, what's going on? Do you think I'm a thief? Isn't it?" Guancher Su sneered eccentrically. "Some people concluded that you were a drug thief, so they reported it to Mr. Pu and brought us here for a body search." "What?" Wei Han cried out in surprise. "Mr. Pu, you can't listen to nonsense, I've never done that before." "Boy!" Chen Jihong said angrily, "You think I can't do anything about you if I can't find it today, right?" "Shut up." Pu Xingxian interrupted the quarrel with a cold snort. He looked at Chen Jihong with sharp eyes, and said in a cold voice, "Since you swear that he is a thief, then show evidence instead of talking empty teeth here." "Ha!" Chen Jihong sneered and raised his hand from his younger brother, took a warehouse account book, handed it over and said, "The shopkeeper can take a look for himself." Since Wei Han entered the warehouse, there have been shortages of 87 kinds of medicinal materials in this warehouse. In the case of less than 2 caddies, a total of 109 caddies, 6 taels and 3 yuan is missing, which has never happened before, and even if he didn't catch the stolen goods on the spot, he would not be able to escape the responsibility. Pu Xingxian's expression changed. After grabbing the account book, I carefully looked through it. And the more you look at it, the more livid your face becomes. Did you see it? Chen Jihong sneered, "They are all warming and tonic medicines, and they are very expensive. Each kind of medicine is missing a caddy and a half caddy, so it costs more than 100 taels of silver. Manager Su specially arranged for this kid to come over. The warehouse, maybe the two of them teamed up to steal." "You fart." Guancher Su was so angry that his veins were throbbing. Wei Han still had a calm face, and he even wanted to laugh in his heart. That's it. He already knew that Chen Jihong and the others wanted to deal with him, but these methods were a bit too hip, right? Really thought he was the kind of cowardly young man who had never seen the world, who would kneel down and beg for mercy after a few words. And he didn't eat more than 100 caddies at all, and he only ate 7 or 8 caddies when he was exhausted. I'm afraid the rest is not their own deficit, right? How do you say? Pu Xingxian yelled to be beaten and killed before he came up. Instead, he stared at Wei Han seriously, allowing him to argue. "Mr. Pu." Wei Han said calmly, "The shortage of medicinal materials in the warehouse is indeed a very serious matter, but this does not prove that I stole the medicinal materials and sold them. Do you still dare to speak hard?" Chen Jihong chased after the victory and asked, "We have all seen you stealing medicinal materials in the warehouse. A few days ago, you took half a day off to go out. Do you dare to say that you are not selling medicinal materials secretly? What about the evidence? Which pharmacy did I sell the medicinal materials to? With the capabilities of our pharmacy, it is impossible for such a large amount to be found out." Wei Han asked in surprise. My relatives died while fleeing. If you are scattered, why not take half a day off to inquire about the whereabouts of your neighbors? Besides, is there a rule that you are not allowed to eat medicinal materials in the warehouse? I did eat medicinal materials in the warehouse, but it was not stealing, but eating openly. The doctors in our pharmacy, who is not a master of medicine, started from tasting herbs educational. If you don't try the herbs, how do you know the habits and characteristics of the medicines? Could it be that such a big pharmacy doesn't allow me to try a few pieces of herbs? People's restaurants don't restrict cooks from tasting dishes. Wei Han's series of words immediately made Chen Jihong and others speechless. Pu Xingxian and Su Guanche had smiles in their eyes. That's right. Manager Su said with a smile, when I was an apprentice handyman, I had to taste every medicinal ingredient. What's wrong with eating it? Which apprentice doctor doesn't taste medicinal ingredients? You don't think he can eat them all? More than 100 caddies. Chen Jihong, all of this is your guess. Pu Xingxian frowned and said, you have no evidence to accuse Wei Han of stealing and selling medicinal materials, right? Chen Jihong sneered, and said, according to the rules of the pharmacy, those who have serious suspicions can use the Chen family rules. If you don't believe me, you can use torture to extract a confession. Nonsense. Pu Xingxian said angrily, you really think I'm a fool if you want to torture me for such an obvious accusation? Mr. Pu, since I entered the warehouse, I have been excluded and isolated. Since some people think that I have blocked the way of getting money and are willing to frame me, why don't we all be punished together and see who can't bear it first? Wei Han smiled half-smile. Speak up. You. Chen Jihong and others were so angry that they almost vomited blood. They never expected that stealing the chicken this time would cost them nothing. Will Wei Han dare to set the fire on them? Enough. Pu Xingxian reprimanded in a cold voice, you guys usually do some small tricks to shoddy, and I don't bother to answer without evidence. Now you still want to slander and exclude good people. Do you really think the warehouse is your home? Shopkeeper, we don't have. Chen Jihong retorted with a stiff neck. Shut up. Pu Xingxian said impatiently, don't think that I dare not deal with you because you are a collateral branch of the Chen family. You should quickly make up for the missing medicinal materials, otherwise don't blame me for not being sympathetic. Between a few words and a few words. Pu Xingxian has already qualified the incident. Chen Jihong's eyes widened in disbelief, his back molars were almost crushed. Wei Han, I heard from Guanche Su that you are the best among this group of handyman apprentices. Pu Xingxian said softly, I have wronged you just now, what compensation do you want? I don't dare to make compensation. Wei Han naturally wouldn't be polite, and he climbed up the pole directly. I have been dealing with medicinal materials since I was a child, and I have memorized the Basic Medicinal Identification Atlas a few days ago. I wonder if I will have the opportunity to learn medical skills in advance. Being a man must not be so ambitious. Pu Xingxian did not believe his words, shook his head and said, however, there is indeed a shortage of people in the pharmacy recently. You are talented, so it's better to learn some skills in advance. How about this, from now on you go to do odd jobs in the pharmacy in the morning and help out in the warehouse in the afternoon, counting that you have passed the examination in advance, the monthly salary will be paid as a third-class apprentice physician. Thank you, shopkeeper. Wei Han nodded cheerfully in agreement. Don't care about Chen Jihong's and others' pale faces. Ask for a ticket. End of this chapter.